All right, man, let's get into this wrap-up show for the Lions 2023 draft. Appreciate everybody for listening. All right. Don't forget you can support the channel by thumbsing up the video, sharing the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit the link tree now on TikTok. So I appreciate y'all giving me a follow on TikTok. Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor. Listen to this. I make this available right after the show on Spotify. So about an hour after the show to be on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and get a show a rating. I appreciate that. Rate it whatever you feel like it deserves to be rated. So hopefully you're enjoying the shorts. I'm posting them on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So I have some short opinions, just in case people, time strapped and can't listen to all of the videos. So I do some shorts, do some videos, Lions working out, Pistons, whatever. Obviously after about after this period, next couple weeks, we'll be turning up for the Pistons a lot too on the channel. So that content will be coming fast. Should be getting the coach announcement pretty soon. Kind of thought that maybe they'd wait till after the draft, see that number one pick. I think they would have made the offer a little bit more attractive for maybe a big name candidate. It don't seem like they're going that way, which is just cool. You just want the right candidate. Dan Campbell wasn't the biggest name candidate out there, but he seemed to be the right fit, and that's all you want. You want the right fit. We're gonna get into it. DeAndre Swift trade. We're gonna talk about where they still weak and stuff at. And I got some great videos coming for the next few days as well too. So hopefully you guys enjoy them. So obviously Jahmyr Gibbs was the hot topic. It was said, I think Brad Holmes said that they would have took him at number 6 if they couldn't find the right trade down partner. I think one thing about the trade from 6 to 12 to Arizona, a lot of people felt like why they had to give up a 3rd round pick. Why it just couldn't be, 12 and 34 for number 6. So I guess, that's something that Arizona wanted to negotiate. Now, Arizona head coach did not speak the whole draft process. So I think it was something about Mike Florio or something with the media or whatever. So he didn't speak. So they ended up taking an offensive tackle. I think the Bears might have got the better offensive tackle. The kid from Tennessee, really, really good. Let me kind of fix my camera. Kind of really, here we go. Kind of really good too. Take the right angle. Really good. So, we could take a look at some of the people that kind of, went before. And obviously we talked about the Jalen Carter thing. I was supposed to have a Jalen Carter video. I was supposed to have that up this morning, but I put the wrong time on it, so it'll come up tomorrow. I don't know what's going on here with ESPN.com. I'm out here struggling, but yeah, we could look at kind of like, a lot of people got mad about Jalen Carter, and I speak on it, but obviously I do the videos to specify them specifically, so you don't have to sit through the whole live stream, and I don't have to put chapters in there and shit like that. I don't have to be that precise. Let's see real quick. Let's see if we can. Yeah. So it don't really matter. So the price for trading up was steep, is what we can say. It was steep to trade up to number 2. I believe Houston gave up or number 3, excuse me. Houston gave up 12, a future first, the second round pick, and I think a future third round pick. So I think it was too rich for Detroit blood. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think people kind of moving up to 3 for Will Anderson. I think a lot of people was like, they wanted to happen. They thought he was gonna fall. There's no way he was gonna fall. Somebody was gonna move into that 3 spot and get him. Okay. And it was Houston. So, they gave up a lot of 12, 2024 first, I think a 2024 third and a second round pick this year. That's why Arizona didn't have no problem sending a second round pick to us to get the 6 from 12, which I still don't agree with us giving up our third round. But then again, we end up moving back in the third round to get Brodric Martin. So what you really want to look at is this point on, okay? And what happened was they were going to take Devin Weatherspoon. That's who the Lions was going to take. Seattle passed up on Jalen Carter as well. But that's who the Lions was going to take. Devin Weatherspoon. It was in the air. Everybody knew it. So Arizona wanted to get Paris Johnson Jr., which if you look, they probably was worried about Chicago taking them. Then Peter Skoronski went too. So with Arizona moving to 12, the chances are they probably would have ended up with the worst tackle out of all of them. They wouldn't have got Paris Johnson Jr. All right, so that's what it was. And they took Devin Weatherspoon. That was what it was, right? So then you say, well, who might come and haunt the Lions? Now, I haven't seen many people speak on the draft. I've been kind of like busy this weekend trying to get shit in order, doing the shorts and with life. So I don't know what people are saying, and I catch up with Micro Mike and a few people will see what they're saying, right? But Tyree, we didn't need another tackle. We know that, right? So Tyree Wilson, was a guy with tremendous upside. Now, when I was reading, it was only supposed to be a foot ailment. Now, apparently, he had a broken foot listening to the draft. And Brad Holmes don't seem like he took a lot of risks outside of Hendon Hooker on injury-prone players this year. So, clap it up for Brad Holmes for not, taking injury-prone players this draft. So let's clap it up for Holmes staying away from the injury-prone players. Now, I'm cool with taking, chances with injury-prone players. I'm cool with taking chances on injury-prone players, right? As of mid to late, and that's fine. So Tyree Wilson could have come back to bite him in the hindsight, yeah. But then again, you like James Houston, you like Charles Harris when he's healthy. We love Aiden Hutchinson. You got Romeo Court, Julian Accord, John Kaminsky. So one thing I can say about Tyree Wilson, foot injuries are tricky. But I think he was just as talented physically as Will Anderson. That's what I can say. I think he is just as talented as Will Anderson, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. But the reason the Lions started off 1-6 last year, and I called it. I said, hey, they're gonna struggle early on. It just wasn't because of the schedule; they wasn't good enough. Anytime you come into an offseason, anytime you come into a season, you get into the training camp, you leave in training camp from preseason to a regular season. Guess what's happening? And you got injuries. The injury bug becomes contagious. Becomes contagious. So they came in. J-Mo was out. Josh Pascal was out. Anna Zorki out again. Jerry Jacobs was out. I mean, you name them. I think Melifano might have got injured in there. I'm just talking about the defensive side of the football. Romeo coming off an injury. Then guess what? Tracy Walker got injured. Then guess what? Charles Harris got injured. So, so that's something to think about. So it becomes contagious. So they started off behind the 8 ball in the injuries a little bit too much. And I specified that was going to be an issue. That's going to be hard to overcome because they needed that depth. And then you had Kaminsky go down. I mean, you keep going on and on. So it wasn't that they lacked the talent. They just had too many injuries to overcome. And then some guys offensively got injured, but I'm not focusing on that. But what happened in the process, the good thing about those injuries, they got to develop depth. You know what I'm saying? You got to develop. Hutchinson went through a rough patch where a lot of fans started turning on him, don't understand football. You got to find James Houston. Julian Okora got to play. Rodrigo was balling out. Anazoni wasn't bad. You know, you got to put in Kirby Joseph, who played very well. So you start finding just different. You start developing guys that you're not going to depend on. So Tyree Wilson, I understand why they stayed away from him. Broken foot, didn't get the workout. They said that the laceration wasn't healed enough to deal with the sweat that was going on, that was going to happen on his foot. So he didn't. I don't think he ended up working out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I understand from that aspect why you don't take Tyree Wilson. But I was big on his talent. I was big on his athleticism. If he stayed healthy, it wouldn't surprise me if he is the best player out this draft. He's very talented. But anytime you're dealing with the guys that's routinely over 230, 220, guys like that, and a broken foot is murky. It's real murky. So I understand that. Then you go to Bijan Robinson, and I'm gonna do a video. That's probably gonna become more. That's probably gonna come more Tuesday. But the thing about Bijan Robinson was that Brad Holmes basically said for them, they felt that Jahmyr Gibbs was a better fit for them. Now I heard somebody else say it in the chat that they felt that Jahmyr Gibbs was the better back, or they should get Jahmyr Gibbs later. And I'll get to that. So I'll explain Bijan Robinson later, later in the video, or Tuesday in the video, whatever. So Darnell Wright, Peter Strzelanski from whatever name from there, and that was the guys there. Now a lot of people like me thought, hey, I thought it was gonna be Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez dropped a little bit to 17. So I don't really know what happened with Christian Gonzalez in the process and why he dropped. A lot of people like Lucas Van Ness from Iowa as well too. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand, why Christian Gonzalez dropped. I liked his I don't know if he interviewed bad, but I liked his ability. And I thought he might be the pick at 6 after Weatherspoon went, but they didn't prefer him. They took Emmanuel Forbes over him. So, I mean, I don't know what other people was looking at. Kalanji Kancey, I think the issue with him was, you want somebody to stop the run as well as get after the pass. So I think he was a little bit liability at stopping the run. That's why they didn't go there. So, really, I don't really see, face value why people was mad, because the rumor was at 15 the Jets was going to take Jahmyr Gibbs, and Atlanta was trying to trade back into the first round and take Jack Campbell. So, and a lot of the second round picks, a lot of mock drafts kind of don't really tell you where a lot of guys going to follow. So we start reading these mock drafts and we like, oh man, this guy got to go here, and he reached for him. I mean, they mock drafts are totally different, than for reality. And Brad Holmes say respect to the mock drafts, but we have information that they don't have. So, and it was said that a lot of teams, including the Raiders, like I was reported, took Jalen Carter off their board. They took Jalen Carter off their board. So, but yeah, let's talk about Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm about to read some comments, talk about Jahmyr Gibbs for a minute. I don't grade picks because it's stupid. Because you only can grade picks by what they do on the NFL football field and how their career goes. It's a lot of factors in which I don't think people can really reach when talking about grading guys, because you don't know what they're going to do when they get that money. You don't know how the family going to act. You don't know a lot of things. So it's a lot of non-football things going into it. Eric, what's going on, bro? That trolling is hilarious. I enjoy the video titles wholeheartedly. He said Trey Finesse, what's going on? He said I was hoping they would take Carter, but always knew they wouldn't be. But I'm happy how things turned out. I guess I can address that right now. Y'all already know the Lions ain't gonna take a chance on Carter. I mean, I kind of don't blame them in a way. Anytime you get somebody who get in trouble, repeat offender, and that was some whole ass shit how that video leaked out though. I didn't really like how the second video leaked out about him speeding after the whole incident happened, and then he shows up to the pro day out of shape. So now his whole thing could be, well, I was stressed out about the situation, blah, blah, blah. But anytime you start getting guys that big who gain that amount of weight from the pro day, from the not pro day, from the combine to his pro day, and he come out his pro day out of shape. I mean, I believe that's the equivalent. I think that was more impactful than what he did with the racing. So anytime you come to a pro day, which is orchestrated and is really blueprinted out, orchestrated for you to be successful. It's like having the answers to the test while you're taking the test. And you come out and feel it, you come out of shape, you breathing. And when you got a man that big, guess what? You give him money, he eat, he already got character concerns. So obviously you gotta watch your weight too. And he come out of shape. Like, I mean, do y'all really think the Lions had the locker room to really reel that young man in? And yeah, you could have, made him stay with Isaiah Buggs, or, you know what I'm saying? You could have, try to build a build, but it's a young football team. I think Philadelphia was a better fit for him. He got a few college buddies there, a lot of Georgia alumni there. It's a veteran football team with Detroit native Michigan alumni Brandon Graham there. They got a very, very veteran locker room. Jalen Hurts is good as it getting the leadership department. AJ Brown, you got a lot of guys that went through it. Darius Slay, we know him well. So I think that was a better situation, a winning organization, a veteran organization. So if something do happen, I feel like they got enough Georgia guys, the guys he's familiar with, that can kind of get him in check. I think it was like the equivalent of the Honey Badger going down there with Patrick Peterson in Arizona, and that's why they drafted him. And he just continued to mentor him, and he didn't mess up again. Knock on wood. So we all make mistakes. Right now, football teams and people you work with, or people you think is so nice when you go to the Piggly Wiggly or the Kroger's or the Winn-Dixies and shit, wherever you are from, they could be stone cold killers, they could be murderers, they could be thieves, they could be anything. You just don't know today. So, kind of judging on people for getting caught, you know what I'm saying? That's cool and all, but you got people who never got caught, or it ain't been brought to light, they've been covered up. So I'm not, people make mistakes, but I think the biggest thing with him was coming to the interview, coming to the pro day, which was his interview with the answers on the test, and coming out of shape, couldn't finish the workout. That said too much about him. Probably brought back Albert Haynesworth flashbacks. And that's like going to a job interview with jeans and a t-shirt on and your hair not cut. You can win the interview, just off pronunciation and how you look when you first walk in the door. And I see a lot of people even come to open interviews, even if it's at the McDonald's and shit, and they wearing jeans and they wearing, t-shirts. And even if that's not the requirement, it says a lot about you when you coming out with a tie or a shirt on and some slacks on and some nice shoes on. And even if your hair couldn't get your hair cut, everything else can make up for that. But so like I said before, man, I feel that I feel Jalen Carter, I think the pro day was the final nail in the coffin, not finishing the workout. So that is what it is. But yeah, with Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the subs had told me about him and said they would wait until the second round to get him. I think it was a shocker that Bijan Robinson went in the first round. Yeah, I think it was a shocker that Bijan Robinson went in the first round in the eighth. But I mean, I was hearing somebody on NFL Network call it, so I thought he was bullshitting. But real quick, kind of looking at some of the running backs that kind of went high in the past. Saquon Barkley, I believe he delivered. Christian McCaffrey, I believe he delivered. Leonard Fournette, I think it's a wrap, but he ain't the biggest bust. Who else we have? McCaffrey, Todd Gurley, he delivered. So, I mean, I just think running backs are important, and I wasn't like he was shocked he got picked. I was shocked he got picked. But they're important, man. And Daniel Jones got paid off the strength of Saquon Barkley. Josh Jacobs really carried the Raiders last year. They probably barely would have won a game without him. It was somebody else. Derrick Henry got Ryan Tannehill paid. So we can go on and on. Christian McCaffrey literally saved the 49ers season. Without him, Brock Purdy don't have that success. So they are valuable. They get diminished. They get diminished. And Jahmyr Gibbs is shown to be able to produce outside the Alabama program and inside the Alabama program. Now, for a minute, I ain't gonna lie, I thought he went to Wake Forest like Kenneth Walker, but I got them mixed up. But he's shown to be productive wherever he's been at. He had 89 carries, 460 at Georgia Tech in 7 games. His first year there. 4 TDs. He had 24 receptions, 303, 3 TDs. I mean, 12 games, 143 his sophomore year, 746, 4 TDs, 35 catches, 465, 2 TDs. Last year, Alabama, and the numbers went up. Obviously, the talent went up. The carries went up. 151, 926 yards, 6.1. Yards to carry, 7 touchdowns, 44 receptions, 444. That's a hell of a number right there. Yards and 3 TDs. Now, one thing I wanted to say too before I get back to the comment section is that Bijan Robinson didn't have a drop ball, but we all know drops are subjective last year. So, but how they gonna use this kid? I think there's and I'm gonna talk about Sam LaPorta too, and I'm gonna have to come back when I talk about him to Jahmyr Gibbs. So I ain't gonna spend too much time on Jahmyr. But I think the offense is gonna look a lot different this year. Last year kind of was run the ball, play action down the field. I think what they're doing is I think the offense is gonna look somewhat like the Patriots offense with Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. But with Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, he run the angle, he can run routes. The thing about Bijan Robinson, he was running deep routes down the field too. But with Jahmyr, I think he'll look out for matchup nightmares. Get him in space. Michael Parsons said that. I was looking for the clip. I think he was with Bleacher Report. He said that ain't no linebackers gonna be able to cover Jahmyr Gibbs. So they're gonna put him in space. Finding ways to get the football. Him and Montgomery gonna be what Jamal Williams didn't get a chance to do with DeAndre Swift because Swift stayed banged up. So they're gonna keep each other fresh. I think we still got Justin Jackson, Craig Reynolds. So it's a good mixture. I would like to see them get one more speed back in there, for the balance. But yeah, they gonna find. You can look for him to get anywhere from 10 to 20 touches a game. And also don't sleep on David Montgomery's ability to catch the ball out the backfield. But we'll see. But he said, how do you feel about the Hendon Hooker? I'm gonna get to that, Phil. He said Chase Cotta can make the roster. He got good hands. He said maybe thought Carter might be another Nick Fairley. Man, I can't really say that, but anytime you show up to an interview and you fail the interview, which was his pro day, I mean, you come out of shape. I just think that was the biggest red flag. A repeat offender too, and that video leaking out. I just don't like that shit. If we're gonna keep it on the wrap, let's just be too many people doing shit for clout, bro. And I'm not gonna venture off. Jack Campbell sounds like most Mike linebackers' name, so he might be good. I think he is gonna be really good. And I'm gonna talk about him too. I don't think Hooker is a franchise quarterback. And I'm gonna get to all of that. So keep holding questions. If I forget it, just throw it back out there when I get to it. Gibbs is gonna be here 5 or 4 year running back in the first round. It's stupid unless he's a Hall of Fame. I don't think so. That's not true. I mean, I just went over. Ryan Tannehill wasn't shit till he met Derrick Henry. Now tell me why I'm lying. Daniel Jones struggled without Saquon Barkley. Saquon got there. Guess what? He started balling. Y'all listening to the media, the running back is the most important position when you don't have stability at the quarterback. I mean, you look at Peyton Manning all the years he had with Edgerrin James, Joseph Adai, Tom Brady. People forget one of my favorite running backs, Corey Dillon. Didn't know his nephew was on the Packers, AJ Dillon. Well, one time Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl. Who really opened that up for them? James Starks went fucking crazy. So start kind of don't listen to what the media say. Daniel Jones don't get paid if Saquon Barkley not there, bro. Kirk Cousins don't have the success he don't have in Minnesota if Dalvin Cook is not doing what Dalvin Cook do when he healthy. Dak Prescott still ain't had the success since Zeke Elliott was cranking that bitch over there. So you kind of see the correlation. Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady without depending on Antoine Smith and Corey Dillon early on. That's what they don't tell you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that is a very smart thing to do. Running backs are being asked to do a lot. Look at Christian McCaffrey. What he did, he saved the 49ers season. That was the move of last year. Think of how worse the Houston Texans would be without the kid they drafted or the undrafted or the kid they had last year. So you got to really understand it. You know, in New Orleans for years, Pierre Thomas, Reggie Bush, that was what really got New Orleans the Super Bowl. They started running the football and they took some stuff. So that's the running back position is too important. It's way too important. What was the difference between Kansas City last year and them not winning? Isaiah Pacheco. So don't let the media brainwash you. These running backs are being undervalued, but they have value. Look at the Bengals running backs. They was able to mask a lot of bullshit for years with a bad offensive line because they was able to make something out of nothing. Joe Mixon was very important. And what's the kid named Samaje Perine was very important over there. It's not stupid to take a running back early on. They have more impact than a lot of guys that historically go above them. The two best picks last year in the draft, Kenneth Walker III and Breece Hall. Without Breece Hall, Zach Wilson, he got put on the bench. With Breece Hall, Zach Wilson was solid. Think about that. He was real solid last year before he got put on the, when Breece Hall went out, Zach Wilson fell off a cliff. Seattle was struggling especially when Rashard Penny went out. They got Kenneth Walker. They turned into a playoff team. I don't think Hooker's a franchise quarterback. He said Lions draft over. I don't know what that meant. He said a Campbell pick was great pick to me because the Mike linebacker was one of our biggest needs last year. Arizona was our worst. I can't say he played pretty decent last year. That's why he got paid. He wasn't the worst player out there at all. Hooker throwing the ball inside the dome would be scary. He said Philly Bulldogs was a great fit for Carter. Yes, veteran locker room, veteran presence, guys that he's familiar with. If he gonna succeed, it's gonna be in that locker room. The LaPorta pick was cool. He like a budget Kelsey. I think he's better route runner than Michael Mayer. That's probably why they liked him more. I hate the tight end pick. That was my least favorite pick, but I don't hate it. But I'm explaining why. The Campbell and Branch picks are going to contribute this year. The first three is going to contribute this year. If my memory serves me correctly, the first four picks are going to contribute this year. Excuse me. The first four picks will contribute this year, and I'm explaining them all. He said, you think Gibbs can be Debo type? No, he's not a Debo type of player. He's not a receiver. I think you're thinking more like McCaffrey. I don't want to shoot that high. I don't want to, Saquon. I don't think they use Saquon in the same manner as McCaffrey as much they could in a passing game. Brian, you could think Brian Westbrook, and there's no slight against Brian Westbrook, one of the best players. He was before his time. I think you think of Brian Westbrook, Roger Craig type guy. I want to give you somebody else. How maybe you thought New Orleans truly was going to use Reggie Bush. Jesus Christ. I want to give you one more. I want to give you one more guy. I'm going to think about this for a minute. Man. Yeah, I'm trying to give you one more comparison. I'm trying to roll through my NFL Rolodex real quick. Travis Etienne. I think that's kind of how you really kind of Austin Eckler. But the thing about it, I think we're gonna get a little bit more dangerous for Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm not just saying that because we drafted him. I think you might be a little bit more right with the Deebo Samuels type of thing. I think you might see him more in the slot, maybe out wide more. I think you might see that both with him and Bijan Robinson. So I think you might see him more, slot receiver, bubble screens. I think you might see him a little bit more running routes and running more routes than them. You're gonna see some packages with him and Montgomery out there. So yeah. Who do you think the odd man out is going to be between Branch, Walker, Johnson? It's not gonna be an odd man out, and I'll get to that. Rams running back save Goff in the stats and stat Pafford. Well, yeah, Todd Gurley one of the best to ever do it, bro. Let's call a spade a spade. He's career cox card. Marker might become more of a box safety moving forward. He's already been that. He's already been there. When I get the Branch, I get LaPorta reminds me of Kittle's. Do we block like Kittle? They're gonna use Gibbs like Kamara. Thank you. I had to remember like Kamara. That might be a great pick. Gibbs is a scat back unless he uses him as a receiver. Like that's what he's gonna be used. He's gonna be in the. That's what you need. That's all you need from DeAndre Swift. And DeAndre Swift couldn't be healthy enough just to be a scat back. His yak is elite. He said, I like the receiver from North Carolina, Antoine Green. What is a scat back? It's like a complimentary receiver, a back that do everything. But he really, like Brian Westbrook, for the Eagles. A scat back is like, he going to go out there, in certain situations, he's going out there to, I don't know, run off tackle, or you out there to catch a ball, or, that's kind of pretty much what a scat back is. Kind of like I said, Brian Westbrook, McCaffrey more kind of do more of the traditional things too, but just somebody you just want to get the ball in their hand multiple times. He's just gonna complement what David Montgomery do. You see what I'm saying? So kind of I wouldn't diminish it saying a third down back, but just a back that could it doesn't necessarily can't be a speed back, but kind of somebody that kind of is a jack of all trades back there. I told y'all Jeff Okudah was a huge mistake. I think I was with you on that one. How's it going? What's going on, Greg? I see you. He said, I think Carter was going through a lot. Really, he's going to be a beast in Philly. Could be. Brandon Miller, scoop, oops, wrong topic. I don't know what that meant. He said, how many Super Bowl winner teams in the past 10 years have had elite all these? Isaiah Pacheco was like, Isaiah Pacheco, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't won it last year. I'm not saying he elite, but they wouldn't have won it. Without, Leonard Fournette playing the way he played in Tampa, they wouldn't have won it neither. I can't even think past that. James Starks, he got hot. They wouldn't have won it neither that year with him. I don't know the last Super Bowl. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know who all won it. Denver won it one year, but I can't remember who was they running back that year. Their offense was putrid. But you need those backs. I'm telling you, you need those backs. You need quarterbacks to get there. That's a fact. Marshawn Lynch, they would have won it twice if they would have gave him the damn ball. But we know what that was about. I can remember that Super Bowl. So it's been a bunch of them. I can't say in the last 10 years, but it's been a bunch of them. Let me see real quick, because you're taking me off topic. You need running backs. I'm telling y'all right now, you need them. You need them. You need them. They getting guys paid. The Rams had the Rams in the Super Bowl? Oh yeah, that was last year. Yeah, Cam Akers did come back though. They beat Tampa. Tampa beat Kansas City like that. I can't even think who Philly running back was. Shit, I can't think who New England was. Denver. I can't remember who Denver's was. You have Marshawn Lynch. That's 2012. That's crazy. You got a couple, but it ain't been that many though. But I will say Cam Akers made a difference. Isaiah Pacheco made a difference. I ain't saying pay them big money though. I would say obviously Jalen Hurts in their backfield, their running game did make a difference last year, even though they lost. I just can't remember some of these games. It's been so long. But Marshawn Lynch was in there a couple times. You had New Orleans in there. I can't remember who their running back was at that point. Pittsburgh was in there. I think was it Willie Green was they running back? Or am I tripping? Hold on. I think Willie Green was their running back. Willie Parker, my bad. Yeah, Willie Parker was their running back. But yeah, you need them. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, you need them. They getting guys paid around here. He said there's not one guy that you can say with his breakaway speed and burst. He said with the 5th pick for a 6, shake my head. Who all got after the 6th selection that season? I don't know what you mean by that one. Thanks for scamming Scab back. He said Antoine Green is going to be another. So he could be right. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of tape. Pretty good. The running back in Wisconsin when New England came back and beat Atlanta. Oh, James. What's his name? James White. Corey Dillon helped the pass win. Marshall helped the Rams win. Yeah, Corey Dillon, one of my favorite running backs. Jamal Charles. Yeah, I like Jamal Charles. Shout out to Jamal Charles. Your show is underrated. Please, anyone smash the like button. The first reaction, I think, for Michigan-related sports news. Appreciate it. Ask John Elway if you need a running back. Yeah, Greg, that's a good one. Terrell Davis. That motherfucker didn't have no help, though. For years, he was dragging their ass to the Super Bowl. He said, McQueen, yes, it compares to this closer for body style. He said, I'm not saying that running backs don't matter. The fact that you could have got one. You couldn't got one later. Let's stop saying that. Who is you going to get later that's compared to Jahmyr Gibbs? Bijan Robinson went 8. The Jets was going to take Jameer Nelson at 15. Brown Holmes didn't say them specifically, but it leaked out. So who else was you going to get later? Did Chase Brown get drafted? By the way, I didn't see him get drafted. So who else was you going to get later? That's my thing. If people said, well, Jack Campbell, he would have been there. He wasn't going to be there. Cincinnati took Chase Brown. From his brother went before him. I didn't know he had a twin. He went 163rd, 5th round. That's a travesty. Well, you won't go find nobody else like Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, had him and Bijan in the 20s, I would understand. And you got to understand, too, Dallas was going to take Jahmyr Gibbs, too. It was Jahmyr Gibbs or the tight end from Utah, but they both was gone. It was some teams that was trying to jump up and get him. Y'all got to think, too, we've had a Swift Army knife at running back now. He had 1 drop and 52 receptions. He's out to Deuce McAllister. I don't think that was him in that Super Bowl, though. Let the team cook. Trio said I was talking about how we traded a former 6th round for 6th pick for a 5th rounder. Who are you talking about? You talking about a 3rd overall pick in Jeff Okudah? He wasn't worth shit. What you was going? You wasn't think gonna get nothing for him. Ebron was the only one I could think of who got later and got signed. I don't know who that is. Gibbs and Bijan were CO. I don't know, CO number 1s. I don't know what that meant. College number 1s. But y'all act like Bijan Robinson didn't just go number 8. That was the crazy thing about it, but we got to move on. All right, let's talk about Jack Campbell. I heard him, and one thing you got to think about too. You got to think about the shit that get put out in the media, bro. I think that's what we got to think about. I think a lot of people hear Braylon Network say something about Jack Campbell and everybody run with it. Nobody go look at the tape. Nobody go look at the Lions scheme. When somebody puts something out there and everybody just run with it, go see for yourself. The first thing I did was just match up his athleticism to other inside linebackers, and I felt that he was right on par with guys that's not as big as him. I think Fred Warner, was a little bit faster than him. Eric Kendricks, who both of them a little bit smarter than him, was a little bit faster than him. But he okay. He had 4 picks in the last 2 years. Now, are they going to be asking, and it's all going to tie together, are they going to be asking Jack Campbell to cover the Jahmyr Gibbs' one-on-one or the Christian McCaffrey's one-on-one in the slot? No. But where you really going to succeed at with him is, I think he's going to be able to help that run game, sideline to sideline. He's going to be able to play that deep zone, that hook zone in the middle. And I think he's going to be able to watch, he'd be able to read a lot of coverages. So, he good in coverage. You're not going to see him one-on-one I don't think you're gonna see him one-on-one with running backs on the wheels or on the Texas routes, or I don't think you're gonna see him in that capacity because you don't see Anzoni in that capacity. But one place where he will succeed at, where Anzoni didn't succeed at, was he gonna be able to plug a lot of them holes, and I think that's why they went away from Kalaji Kansey, because he just couldn't stop the run good enough for them. I think with Jack Campbell, you got somebody that's gonna fill that hole, make plays sideline to sideline, got a knack for the ball. You see the forced fumbles and the fumble recoveries he got, 6 of them in his college career. So everybody started thinking that middle inside linebackers. You start thinking about Urlacher, who was a safety converted to middle linebacker, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, true super athletes at the position. But and so today's, but you go around, you look around today's league, and you look at what Fred Warner ran in the 40. I mean, it's very, it's comparable. 4.64. That's what the man ran. Just to give you a comparison, I ain't saying that I ain't trying to diss him. I love Fred Warner, great football player. Love to, have him on my football team. But let's talk about the facts. When I hear somebody say something, man, I turn on the tape, see for myself. I do the comparisons myself, and that's just what I do. Like when somebody comes with some news, I fact check it. I know how to fact check the news. And you look, 6'3", 236, 32-inch arms, 4.64, 38.5-inch vertical, 21 bench press reps. And you start to look, Jack Campbell, 4.65, 37.5-inch vertical, 128 broad jump. So I mean, 3 cones, 6.74, faster than his. The shuttle, he was 4.24, faster than his. So I mean, like I continue to say, man, sometimes he's not a great enough athlete to play. Then Fred Warner's not a good enough athlete. Fred Warner's not a good athlete to play, and I think anybody say that's stupid because Fred Warner is a fucking baller. He's a baller. So sometimes you just got to go out there and just match it up for yourself. At 6'5", he plenty enough. He heavier and just as athletic. I see him standing next to Megatron. I was like, what the shit? You know what I'm saying? Big as hell. And productive and got a knack for the football. That's what you want. He plenty athletic enough and he got a knack for the football. Don't you want guys to take the football away? He kind of got old school linebacker size, but plenty enough athleticism to survive in this era. Now, like I said, you ain't going to have him guarding, the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s in the slot eventually. Hell no. You're not gonna ask him to go out there and cover Deebo Samuels in the slot. You're not gonna do that. But you don't ask Antoine to do it. He's gonna be doing what Antoine do. And I think it's a great PIC for partner of crime for Malcolm Rodriguez. Somebody who give a bigger presence on the inside, and him and Malcolm should make a good tandem. So got a great mentor in Alex Anzoni. So I expect it's a position that takes some time to get your feet wet for sure. But I expect him. I expect him to eventually pick it. I mean, he expects to contribute right away. So I think eventually he will pick it up. So it's a tough position. Let's talk about Sam LaPorta. Talk about old Sammy boy. Give me 1 minute. Let's talk about old Sammy boy. Sammy boy. So he's from Highland, Illinois. So obviously Midwest kid. Said he was happy to play with Jack Campbell again too. So it's always good to hear teammates talk highly about themselves, about their teammates. Came in at 6'3", 245. Not a great blocker, and I don't think you get him to block, honestly. 6'3". So obviously big hands. Ran a 4.59 is pretty good for that size. Uh, so 35 inches vertical. You see the broad jumps, the shuttles. Um, they say he was projected to go in the third round. So some people said another reach possibly. But this is what whoever wrote this, they don't have a name. Highly targeted tight end whose playing style and physical ability lands somewhere between the connect, inline, or wing and move tight end. LaPorta has the ability to threaten zone coverage and will make the basic catches. However, he lacks the desire and elusiveness and ball skills to come away with the more challenging catches. LaPorta takes on running block chores with inconsistent positioning, but has the potential to improve with more work in that phase of the game. His catch production is splashy, but he appears to have an average starter potential in the next level. It says the high volume target from variety of alignments, alters tempo to improve separation potential, creates leverage for route breaks, footwork, and field to handle more complex routes, effective smacking defenders away with stiff arm, tough to tackle once he gathers some momentum, attaches into inline blocks with inside hand, does a decent job of staying after his block. Inconsistent angles and accuracy as a blocker in space, takes the worst of it as a lead blocker, has trouble getting to square contact on the move, needs to work back to meet the throw. Below average catch success when challenged, allow defenders angles to contest the throws, needs to get hands catch ready more quickly. So, I mean, obviously, they see something in him. You heard Brad Holmes talking about how spicy competitor he is and all that. So, a lot of people would have took Michael Mayer. The Michael Mayer kind of gave you a better blocker, but he more athletic than Michael Mayer. Seemed to do a good job of, being a little bit yards after the catch and all that type stuff. So, but hey, they seen something in him, and he gonna be compared to the tight ends that went after him. That's just what it is. He gonna be compared to the guys that went after him. So, and if that's Michael Mayer, who the Raiders instantly jumped up to get after we took him. If that's I think it was one more. Yeah, Luke Musgrave from Ohio or Oregon State. So a couple guys went right there with him. So Luke Shoemaker went to Dallas in the second round. He took two Michigan guys and Maisie Smith and him. So I mean, obviously they seen something in Sam LaPorta. I seen he looked pretty good when he get the ball in his hand. So yeah, they seen something in him. It was my least favorite pick. I just thought they had a good enough tight end room for how they use their tight ends. They always drafting these tight ends, and then they don't game plan for the tight ends to be successful. And that's my problem. Like, you take these tight ends and, they get 3 or 4 targets a game if they lucky, and they always do the same shit. It's this bootleg, flare cut. They always run these same timing patterns. They have athletic tight ends, and they refuse to get on the ball up the field. And Jared Goff doesn't have a great track record of getting tight ends to football. The minute T.J. Hockenson left, he left in the middle of the season, and he had to be one of the more targeted tight ends when he got to Minnesota. We couldn't even, outside of the Seattle game, it was games where they couldn't even game plan to get T.J. Hockenson the ball, and it wasn't Hockenson for it. Hockenson went to Minnesota, picked up their playbook in the middle of the season, and was getting like 10 to 15 targets a game and being very successful within their offense. And the Lions keep drafting tight ends, and there's not a game plan for the tight end to be successful. If I'm going to take a tight end early in the draft, guess what? I'm going to tailor-make an offense to his strengths. And the Lions just never do that with tight ends. They ask catching tight end, or they ask a speed tight end like Eric Ebron to block and to, do timing patterns. He went to Indianapolis, and what they do, they allow Ebron to get vertical on wheels and deep post and fly routes. And Ebron had the most success in his career in that offense with Andrew Luck. So that's my problem. They get these tight ends and they don't utilize them to their strength. I'm not drafting the tight end in the second, the first round to fucking block and run 5-yard, timing patterns and all that bullshit. I want somebody that's going to be used and abused like Gronkowski. Now, with these picks that we just talked about, other than Jack Campbell, I think what you're going to see with LaPorta and Jahmyr Gibbs and St. Brown and James Mitchell and Brock Wright and Zestra, Josh Reynolds, I think you're going to see a lot of 2-3 tight end sets. And I think they're gonna run a more tighter offense, a more heavier set offense this year. Just I don't have any inside information, but I'm just looking at the personnel. And I think they're gonna look to get matchup nightmares with LaPorta. You can see LaPorta line up in the backfield, line up in the slot. I think James Mitchell's being 100% healthy. I think you're gonna start to see you get them speedier tight ends. They're gonna try to get mismatches even if it's on smaller DBs, if they're on bigger linebackers that can't cover. I think they're gonna try to bunch them up, line them up on the same thing. You're gonna probably see them kind of running some high-low stuff. Somebody going in on a 7-yard out, and then somebody coming above them on a post corner route or somewhere, a corner route over the top. So I think you're gonna start seeing a lot of heavier sets with them. I think you might see a Patriot offense in which when they had Wes Welker, Hernandez, Gronkowski, and I think their offense is going to really evolve this year. Even when Jameson Williams get back, I don't think it's going to be the run, play action, go down the field with DJ Shark and Josh Reynolds and etc. I think the offense is going to be more about running the ball from heavier sets. But the good thing about running that ball in heavy sets under the center, and you can do. The Patriots did a lot of heavy sets in shotgun too. And I think what you're gonna get is them being able to disguise their plays. I think you're gonna see a lot of formations and a lot of plays out of certain formations. You probably gonna have 2-3 tight ends, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. You might have an up back in some of those combinations. And I think, you don't know if they're going to be running it or they're going to be throwing it. And I think you might see a situation where you see more tight end screens, you see more running back screens, you see more bubble screens. I think you're going to see more zone stretch plays. You're going to see more quick hitting running plays. You're going to see more play actions. I think in them heavier sets, it's going to force personnel to match up. A lot of personnel like to go out there with 2 linebackers. They're going to force guys to come out there with 3 linebackers, and I think they're going to look to get a linebacker on a tight end, a linebacker safety on a running back. And I think, if teams try to come out there and sub packages versus those heavy sets, I think then the Lions are just going to hand the ball off to Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jackson, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, and they're going to force them to put that extra linebacker on the field. And then I just think after that, it's just going to be trying to get LaPorta, James Mitchell, Brock Wright, Zestra, in the backfield and matchups that favor them. So I think you might see kind of a Patriot offense kind of morph kind of when they had Gronkowski and Hernandez, those heavy sets, even under center and shotgun. So I think you're gonna see a lot of quick hitting runs. I think you're gonna see a lot of play action, quick hitting passes. I think the personnel they're going with right now, I think the evolution is gonna be more heavy sets. They're going to be a more heavy set offense, and that's going to keep teams guessing. It's going to make them either you're going to come out there, you're going to pay a sub package, and we're going to run over you, or you're going to come out and match up personnel, and we're going to throw over you. So I think you're going to expect to see LaPorta in space, James Mitchell in space. I think you're going to see LaPorta and James Mitchell get vertical. I think you're going to see a lot of stuff that you kind of seen, with Sam Bradford, with Jared Goff in LA. I think you might see some zone stretch play action where you stretch the zone out, you play action to Jahmyr Gibbs, and then he leaks out the backfield to the flats. You throwing the ball. You do that with Todd Gurley all the time. So I think what you're gonna see with these tight ends, especially the athletic ones, Zestra, Mitchell, and LaPorta, they're gonna be trying to get matchups on them. And if they put DBs on them, they're gonna try to outmuscle the DBs when they try to press and stuff. So I just think it's going to be a heavy set offense that's going to keep defenses off on their toes. You don't know if they're running or they passing. So I think it's going to be a totally looking different offense next year, man. That's what I think. Taking LaPorta and taking Jahmyr Gibbs, I think they're going to look for matchups and get them in space and get them on inferior defenders. So that's what I just seeing kind of from with the person. And the personnel can change post June 1st. They can make a trade or whatever. They still got cap room. So I think that's what I think they're going to do. I think you're going to see kind of more of a New England style offense when they had all those tight ends. And I think you'll see a lot of heavy sets out of them this year. So it'll be interesting to see kind of, when Jameson Williams get back, what the deal is with that. But I think they're looking for LaPorta as a matchup nightmare. So I'm not going to cover too much Brodric and Colby, Sorsdal, and Antoine Green. But I'll briefly talk about I didn't see Colby Sorsdale, but I heard a little bit about him. So I kind of just briefly run through them after Brian Branch. Then I'm gonna come back and get to Hendon Hooker, DeAndre Swift, get some comments, and kind of wrap it up after that. So just kind of give y'all the itinerary real quick. So yeah, we have Brian Branch. I think that's my favorite pick. It was between him and Jahmyr Gibbs. And somebody asked me, said, who's gonna be the odd safety out or the odd man out in this thing? And I don't think it's gonna be an odd person out. I think what you do know is that Kirby Joseph is probably gonna be your single high safety, your deep safety for sure. I think with Tracy Walker already working out, he gonna be the guy that's gonna be, kind of doing everything in the box, covering nickels, whatever you got to do. And I think Charlie Gardner-Johnson is probably gonna fill in where he need to fill in at. But I do think, or Chauncey, excuse me. I don't know if they call him Chauncey. I think Brian Branch is gonna probably assume him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They're probably gonna assume that nickel position. I think Brian Branch was picked up to succeed, to be the successor to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's what I think. If they don't pay him, I think I think Brian Branch is probably gonna play that position. So I see Gardner-Johnson probably being that nickel, being that Swiss Army knife, being on the outside, being that ball hawk, being a robber, all that stuff. I see Kirby Joseph kind of being that deep safety. So, and I think Brian Branch is probably going to learn behind C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think his ideal thing is going to probably be the nickel. A guy like we just talked about, when you go into those heavier sets, you want people to match up. But the great value about Brian Branch, Isaiah Simmons out there in Arizona, which he don't get a lot of credit, is that if I can also have somebody out there that can be physical and stop the run and also can cover, those guys are very valued in the National Football League. So with Brian Branch, you got a guy who's great underneath in coverage, who's great off the edge blitzing, who could be physical and make some tackles. He's eventually going to be your nickel. That's eventually what he's going to do. And I think Gardner-Johnson is going to be somebody that fill in all over the field. He's going to be somebody that's going to probably play some corner on the outside, play a lot of nickel, play the deep safety. You're going to have him rob and stuff. They're going to allow him to just roam. And I think Brian Branch, that's going to be his future in this league, is he's going to be a nickel and a guy that's going to roam and he can play the deep half of the safety. He can play the deep half of the field. He can rob. He can spy. He can play the nickel. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where they're going to play. He basically going to be the replacement for Gardner-Johnson when he's ready. And, you're like, well, how long does it really take to kind of learn that role? Not long, as a nickel and a safety. It ain't too much to it. You know what I'm saying? Either you play in the zone, either you playing, man to man. But it is a lot on your plate, playing that the nickel safety position. I remember at one point, Quadre Diggs, kind of had to go to safety, and he was kind of like a nickel, and then he mastered both. So I think you kind of see Brian Branch just being the guy that that's going to be a nickel / safety. Him and Kirby Joseph, you can see them play together. You can see, Brian Branch in the box. You can see Tracy Walker in the box. You see Tracy Walker, in college, he guarded corners on the outside. You see Gardner-Johnson, he can guard corners on the outside. So I think they got a good rotation. I think a great question is the future of Melifonwu after this. Does he go back to corner, which I think he might go back to corner. So they got a lot of versatility back there, a lot of guys they really like. With Brian Branch, a very smart, competitive, motivated character. New C.J. Gardner-Johnson's on here. Pretty sure he's probably thinking he's going to kind of go into that. So that's going to be kind of role in his team in the future. So, yeah, I think, smart football player, good ball skills, good tackler, good blitzer. Played the star position in Alabama, a lot of nickel. So, yeah, I think it was my favorite pick, man. You weren't supposed to be there, and you find ways. So it's going to be a lot of versatility going in that defensive backfield. So, I think when you get Gardner-Johnson and Brian Branch, it allows you to be in the sub package, but still got the feel that you got that extra linebacker out here, and that's ideally what you want. You want to be able to keep somebody out there who don't compromise in run support, who don't compromise in coverage. And like I said, Arizona got a good one in Isaiah Simmons. So I think Brian Branch is another really, really good one. So I'm gonna run through these other guys real quick. Brodric Martin, he was Western Kentucky, uh, 6'5", 337 pounds. He was picked 90. They moved up to get him back into the third round to get out of the third round with the Arizona trade. Big man. Get some good physical traits. They spot him at the East West Shrine game, and more of a project player. So you got to get some more technical things down pat. Colby Sorsdal, William and Mary. I think it was a 4-year starter at tackle. He's gonna go be a guard in the league and see if he can make the team. He's gonna be gonna make the switch to guard. So we'll see exactly what happened there. There'll be some opportunities for him to make the practice squad, possibly make the team. Antoine Green. Played with another great receiver, Josh Downs, out there in North Carolina. Mac Brown doing an unbelievable job with that program at the leaving Texas. Deep ball threat, but I see him make some good catches underneath. Got good size. Kind of put you in the mind frame of a Marvin Jones Jr. with his size and his speed. Ran a 4.46. Some people say he looked faster on tape. Do a great job. Do those deep balls. Can come back to the ball. So. Not sure if he gonna contribute majorly right now, but we'll see. We'll see. So Hendon Hooker, obviously a lot of people want to talk about Hendon Hooker. You hear some questions in the comment section. Is he a franchise quarterback? And I just think I think it's about I think being a franchise quarterback, some guys gonna be good wherever they go. But I think you need a system to be successful in. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he went to a better spot, for him. If he gonna be successful, it's gonna be because of this spot. But I'm gonna get some comments real quick. We got a lot of them. So thumbs up the video, by the way. He said I was talking about how we traded the sixth pick for the 5th round. I mean, he was the 3rd pick, so he wasn't the 6th. He said Iran was the only one I was thinking could get it. Okay, I read all that. Yeah, okay, I read all that. He said Devon Ank, whatever his name is, from Texas A&M, back does the exact same thing Gibbs does in Miami. Is the best running back in the NFL after second Chubbs. In Miami is the best running back. At the end of the day, ain't nobody have that Devion Archie guy over him, and I think he went a little bit later because he was smaller. So I think the size kind of scared people away. If they was the same, they would have went around the same thing. I think his size scared people away. Yeah, James White had 30 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 14 receptions, 110 yards in the Super Bowl champs. I mean, I just think he's talking about huge name receivers. But yeah, it's about a lot of important running backs in the Super Bowl the last few years. Like I said, without Pacheco, they don't win it this year. Jack Campbell's one of my favorite linebackers to draft. Eric, he said Lions are going to eat this year. Hooker is going to be nice. He said James White was key contributor. He was a day 3 pick. The Pacheco's 7th round pick took care. At the end of the day, do you trust the Lions to be able to identify those guys later in the draft? You have to ask yourself that. Do you identify them, be able to get those guys? I don't care where you picked at. I just don't care. And the only reason guys Eric Dickerson and Barry Sanders and Saquon didn't win a Super Bowl is because they went hot to bad football teams. Shit, Emmitt Smith did too. It's just that Jimmy Johnson was a fucking wizard. So it don't really matter. You can say, well, Derrick Henry ain't that good, and you go put Derrick Henry on fucking he didn't matter. Go put Derrick Henry on Kansas City and see if you can stop him. I wanted Kobe Dean bad last year. I hope Jack Campbell's the game. Man, the Kobe Dean too small. What's up, Streetwise Television? Roger Martin says he considered it disrespect when teams run the ball at him. I like that. Okay, let me ask you this. If Anderson runs 465 plays outside, but Jack Campbell runs 465 explosive, just as much of a freak athlete, but 6'4", 6'5", but he plays on the inside. I mean, I don't really get into the 40s. It's cool. I don't really get into him, bro. I was just kind of comparing the range. He's longer rangey. I don't get it confused. He can't cover. I don't get confused really, especially in zone covers. Campbell could stop the run. and he has 92 cover rating. They need in the middle of defense. If Jack Campbell, LaPorta have any highlights for Michigan? Maybe one thing I kind of give LaPorta a pass on, man. They don't never had no quarterback at Iowa, so I'll give him a pass. But I believe they play Iowa. Iowa's pretty close in that game this year for a minute. Captain Jack is all business. People who complain about the linebacker 40 are stupid. You need a big brain to be a great linebacker. Shaq, Leonard, Greenlaw, Warner don't have blazing 40s. He said you don't have to ask Campbell to cover a man. He won't be in there for that. That's when you get Brian Branch and Johnny Johnson to cover any of the slot receivers. He said, will Detroit pick up another edge? No, they got 1,000 edge rushers already. LaPorta got twitched and sheds tackles. He said, you got it, bro. Your honor. He's a beast. He's long range in pass. Biggest thing is his feet is really good in short space for a big guy. He said, what did we really get for Swift? He only had 1 year left. He always injured. So what did you expect to get for him? Nothing. We got a 4th round pick in 2025. Shoemaker was a surprise. Yeah, Dallas like the Michigan guys. I think they took what's the other dude over there? Taco. You spot on, bro. Edwards didn't know what the heck he was talking about his butt. He said, didn't he want to pick up German Green from Michigan? I'm not sure, Jermaine Green, excuse me. Move up in 7th to draft NC receiver in 2025 for Swift. 4th, he said, coaching can fix those things. I think he would be a good fit for the offense. And I see, talking about LaPorta, he gets the ball. He breaks a lot of tackles, basically. He just wasn't athletic enough. He was a modern-day linebacker. LaPorta can chip block and catch very well, plus yak. He said, I mean, that's not exactly what he said, bro, but, I mean, you have to go back and watch it. I don't know what they're talking about at this point. What's that receiver name line? Antoine Green. Yo, your screen game is going to be nasty next season. I can see that. We don't need a good blocker. We good enough. We need him to catch the pass. He said, just got here. I hate I missed the show. You can always go back and watch it and listen to it on Spotify. He's very good in play, action. That's why they took him to my hooker. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, talking to him. He said, I can see Goff having close to 5,000 yards for it. I don't see that this year. I don't see that. I don't think it's going to be that type of offense unless they add somebody else on the outside. He said, the film speaks for itself. The dad is the dad of the next gen stats. Can't lie stuff. Told y'all Jeff cool. Okay, that's all stuff I already read. It's just replaying. So we can move on to Hendon Hooker. Jesus Christ. Hold on. I'm trying to get all the way back down here. Jeez. So, bigger steel, Branch or Hooker. I don't know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell, bro. But let's talk about Hendon Hooker, bro. So, I thought I put him on the screen already. So give me a minute. There we go. I've seen him play versus Alabama, Georgia. I remember I was reading that they was talking to him at the Senior Bowl. They was talking to him at the Senior Bowl, man. His Ray Agnew, one of his boys, Brad Holmes' boys, was talking to him at the Senior Bowl. You hear stuff that he might go before Richardson and all this, all the draft stuff. So, he got a good enough arm down the field. They would call him the best deep ball thrower here. Some people ask him, can he be a franchise quarterback? I think he got the time. He can run too. He had a lot of rushing stats at Virginia Tech. The accuracy down the field, you can talk about, it's the offense that he in. I don't give a hell, man. He was throwing that ball that Jalen Hyatt kid, man. He was throwing that motherfucker to him. And he was accurate, you know what I'm saying? And I think the offense that he was in Tennessee, I think it's a good transition over to what they do in Detroit and what they about to do. What they gonna do and it may change by the time if he ever get the reins, it may change. It may very well change by the time he get the reins. You know what I'm saying? It may very well change by the time, that kid get the reins and, but, one thing about the offense he played in Tennessee, they got the ball. Hold on. Yeah, my bad. They got the ball out very, very fast. That ball came out very, very fast, on time, in the rhythm. And I think in Detroit, this year you're gonna see that with Jared Goff, especially without JMO and DJ Shark this year. So I think the ball can come out. You ask him to run the ball, and I think he's gonna be more of a threat running the ball. I think the run game be more of a threat with Hendon Hooker. Because I think his ability to get on the edge and the threat of him running is cool. So yeah, I think he can be. Can he be the guy, the super guy like Aaron Rodgers and stuff? Who knows? Who knows? But he in a great position. He got some issues with feeling pressure in the pocket a little bit. Getting the ball out, holding on too long. That's something that they got to work on. But when you talk about mechanics and accuracy, all over the field and being able to throw the deep ball, being able to be a mobile guy. Maybe he's a good Sean Hill type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Good backup. Maybe he is the guy. How well do we break down and read defenses? He got ideal hand size. I mean, he got the arm. He got a good enough arm. He got athleticism. So, only time will tell. I don't think he could have fell in a better spot. He got Jared right there by him. He got Mark Brunell, Ben Johnson. He'll be able to, take his time and build up his physical strength and then come back and, probably be 2 years before you even see him. Even in a season before you see him in a preseason game. So, and it's no harm, no foul here. If he don't pan out, maybe he could turn around and be a good Charlie Batch type of backup player like he was in Pittsburgh. This don't stop you. Let's say next year they bad and they in the running for Caleb Williams. This don't stop you from taking Caleb Williams. They took what's the kid in Arizona name? What's that kid's name they took in Arizona? And then Josh Rosen, they turned around and took Kyler Murray. So, it can be done, especially with the rookie salary cap now. But older guy, but we'll see. A lot of football, a lot of accuracy, a lot of rhythm. So, yeah, nobody knew Dak Prescott was going to be as good as Dak Prescott. If he was healthy and he tested well, he wouldn't even have been there in the third round. So, I think it was a great value pick. Who knew he was going to be there that late? It's some good quarterbacks, I believe, went in the third round. Dak, Russell Wilson, possibly, maybe fourth. So, we'll see what he can do. We'll see what he can do, and I think I don't put too much expectations on him, but once he get practicing and play scout team, they have a better idea of what he can do and what he can't do. So, you just never really know. But what I seen from him, he was throwing some dimes. So, but that is what it is at that point. But we'll see what they can do. But I think what the Lions do well, I don't think it's too complicated for any quarterback to come in and do it. So I think it's, I won't say watered down. It's simple. Got a good offensive line. Got good backs. Want to get the ball to playmakers. Simple as that. So we had DeAndre Swift get traded. So I really, I can't really tell you about Hooker. I don't think nobody technically can tell you about how good Hooker is. Only time gonna tell. So. And obviously, they drafted him and they want to give him a shot. So we have to wait and see. But we're gonna end it off with DeAndre Swift. And I don't give out draft grades, 2-3 years down the line maybe. But DeAndre Swift moved on. A lot of people didn't believe he was gonna get traded or whatever, and he did get traded. So hold on real quick. Yeah, he did get traded, and they got a 2025 fourth round pick for him, and they swapped 7th round picks with Philadelphia. So for a guy that was on the last year of his deal, for a dude that's on the last year of his deal, who been injury prone. Who been injury prone? That's what you can get for him. So What's another but the best? Miami was also very close to landing. He was, also close to landing him. I think they said Saturday morning, Philadelphia put it over the top, so he could have been going to Miami. He get to go back home. I make Rashad Penny, Kenneth Gainwell. They got a number of running backs. I think they moved on from Miles Sanders, right? So he got competition, but he requested a trade out of Detroit, by the way. So I don't know if he was hearing the trade rumors and all that, but he requested a trade out of Detroit. Yeah, Miles Sanders on the Panthers. Yeah, he requested a trade out of Detroit. So, I don't know if he didn't want to compete, if he felt threatened. I remember he said earlier this season or last season that he wasn't injury prone. Maybe he just don't want to be in Detroit no more. My thing is this: Philadelphia got like 1,000 running backs, so he gonna have to compete there. Even if he went to Miami, they got 1,000 running backs. Jeff Wilson, what's the other kid name they got over there? It's Jeff Wilson, Chase Edmonds. So wherever he was, between the two spots, wherever he was going, they got Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, whoever the hell Kennedy Brooks is, Trey Sermon out of Ohio State. So he joining a very deep backfield. So he basically pulled a Stafford and wanted out. I don't think Detroit failed him. And I don't think I think he had way more supporters than guys that wanted to see him leave. So I don't know if it was to sit however you feel, but he could just never stay healthy. And he was part of somebody that was dependent on last year. And you see, when the talent get to going, he get to hitting on all cylinders. He looked like the best back in the game. You hate to see that he couldn't stay healthy and put it together, but it is what it is. Maybe they was willing to keep him and Jahmyr, Gibbs, and Montgomery together. He was like, nah, man, I want out of here. But you go into a situation where you got to compete even harder. That's the crazy thing about it. You go into a situation where it's like 4 or 5 capable running backs. Rashad Penny was a first-round pick. You was a first-round. Well, he was a second-round pick. Because a lot of Lions fans want him. Kenneth Gainwell is really good. Boston Scott really good. Trey Sermon ain't did nothing in the league, but he's very talented. So, if he can't stay healthy in that situation, then I don't know what to say. But appreciate him. Never forget he dropped that ball. To lose the game in Chicago. Y'all remember that shit? He dropped that ball. He dropped the ball versus Chicago. Here you go, right here. Since you went out of Detroit, we want your ass gone anyway. Remember that shit? Remember he dropped that ball versus Chicago? Shit, man. Did Matt Patricia act like he cared? That'd be forever his shining memory. That'd be his shining memory for me of him dropping that ball in Chicago versus Chicago. That was an SOL moment. Then Adrian Peterson running his spot. I'll never forget it. That motherfucker dropped a routine ball. A lot of Lions fans, y'all quick to forget shit like this. That motherfucker dropped that ball. I'll never forget it. Motherfucking Parker drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Shit. So, even people saying they mad at Holmes for trading them. My whole thing is y'all still believe in the Easter Bunny then or Santa Claus. This dude ain't. Now, he might go to Philadelphia and stay healthy and be Iron Man. He might. This motherfucker been injured his whole career. All my life. Motherfucker been injured his whole career. No, we don't have Killian comments. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Bigger Steel, Branch and Hooker, only time to tell. What Tupac say, Josh? He said, who you can trust, only time will reveal. But if I had to guess, I would say Branch. I don't know, just a guess. Don't be surprised if Brodric Martin is a B-side. That's a big motherfucker too, dude. I want to say I ain't got nothing bad to say about that man. I'm come with my ass. Billy Berry Calvin all got screwed. Costa's good too. He said Hooker 27 28 by the time he starts. Cool. Motherfuckers playing till they 40 now because you can't hit them. Don't got to be a franchise quarterback to get a starting job for 7 years after golf. Shit, you ain't lying. Golf a bus driver like a motherfucker. He parallel parking the fuck out of the team, Detroit Lions team bus. Successful starter NFL quarterback 25, Warren Moon, Roger Staubach, Kurt Warner, relax. Yeah, Kurt Warner was a problem. Warren Moon, man, they did him dirty though. Charlie Ward said, fuck them, I'm going to the NBA. Charlie Ward would have been perfect in today's game. Rated R quarterbacks can play a long time. I mean, these quarterbacks, you don't get hit no more, man. I be trying to explain that to people about the NBA, bro. Like, people don't think it's a difference in the NBA how it's played today. Even how it was played when like 2010 to 2007, 6'5". It's just a difference from even 6'5" and 4 to the early 2000s, like the real late 90s, early 2000s. It's different. Even from the 89 to 91 is totally different. But you can't tell nobody, you can't tell these youngsters nothing. Killian is quick, maybe he can switch to the NFL. He can sign to the Lions to play receiver. He said, I'd rather have Drake May over Williams. He said Killian is a chicken. Hooker was a great pick. If he can develop, it stops them from paying golf $45 a year. He's going to pay somebody at some point. He said, Hen Dog taking over for golf if he get hurt. He ain't right, yeah. Golf ain't going to get hurt. Hope not. Branch my favorite pick. Yes, my favorite pick. Ask Branch how good Hooker is. He said, when is the soonest Hooker can return from it? They said Brown Holmes said he's taking the same approach that he took with Jahmyr. He said they're not gonna rush him. If anything, he might be running the scout team at most. After Gibbs' pick, he wanted out because he saw the writing on the wall. Plus, he can say that he didn't give him every chance to be the guy, but he couldn't stay healthy. Talking about DeAndre Swift, he said that's how versus Chicago. And he said after Gibbs' pick, I read that one. He said that was my argument about why they drafted Gibbs. Eric Choice, and that motherfucker dropped that. They ain't gonna never forget that shit. And Matt Patricia acting like he cared. Logic Gate and like trying to go in the way. If golf succeeds and balls out Hooker to back him to a lip. Or you could just showcase Hooker in preseason and flip him like they flipped Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what motherfucking New England been doing for years, bro. Yeah, if he has an Iron Man suit, the alloy suit. Golf joke had me roll. He said, did Branch do PR duty? He said Gibbs at 12 plus, LaPorta, Bijan. Yeah, I mean, see what they bring to the table. Like I said, I don't get too high, I don't get too low on the Lions no more. Y'all know where I stand. I have no expectations. I have no draft grades. Maybe 2 years down the line we'll start draft. I'll do draft grades. Yeah, that game is trash. It's no longer 2 steps. It's 345 steps traveled, double digit. I got a bad habit. My friends do this shit too. It's just calling out the carries and travels all games and shit. He traveled. You know what I'm saying? He do that shit all the time. He used to do that shit all the time. This is like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Thank God lead is Weagle. Yeah, I don't smoke though. Yeah, I don't smoke. It ain't my thing. I used to smoke. Maybe if you smoke some strong shit, I used to have to go to sleep every time. I said, nah. I still say it was a better option that linebacker Campbell than me don't fit the new league. I disagree with that, bro. I had to go look for myself. I disagree. Fred Warner fit the new league, don't he? He's bigger and more athletic than Fred Warner. So I disagree with that. The Braylon Nevers put that bullshit out there. He just as athletic as Eric Kendricks, too. He 5 inches bigger than Eric Kendricks. So I definitely disagree. I hate when people put shit out there and it's not true. It's not what they saying about his athleticism is not true. That's why I just fact checked this shit. Fuck the tape. I just fact checked it. I looked at the tape. I looked at just comparing the numbers and then the tape. Like this is simply not true. You know, it just simply wasn't true. So he just as athletic as everybody else at that position. So, and I'm not talking about the Willises and the Bowman, not those type of guys, but he's bigger than those. But I just go look for myself. And I'm like, oh, he's straight. He ain't going to be no Urlacher, but you got no Urlacher was a safety at first. King about to be out of here. Damn, they getting blew out. Oh no, Mary below shit. Yeah, they let them motherfuckers come all the way back, didn't they? We knew they was gonna do LeBron and Dre. I ain't even watching that bullshit. See, I don't fuck with LeBron. Boy, hit it that hoe. I don't mess with that man, dude. I ain't watching that series. I watched Denver and Phoenix, Miami and New York. I really don't care about the Philly series because Joel bitch ass ain't playing. Shit, niggas all talk all he like the DeAndre Swift of the NFL, of the NBA. All that crying ain't never held. He cried for MVP. He literally cried. He literally cried for MVP, and now he gonna get the MVP in a full body cast suit. He's a sucker, man. He's a kitten. Joel Embiid's a kitten, dude. Fucking part of Africa, they got him coming from the fake Wakanda. Now Campbell got it, bro. Campbell the best pass coverage. He said, yeah, absolutely disagree based off what he said. I hated Campbell pick because they needed to focus on deep. They need to. I mean, well, if you don't think Khalid Campbell is good enough, why are you gonna take Khalid Campbell over Jack Campbell? He wasn't good enough, according to them. I'm not saying he is or he ain't. Take the best player. So don't know what they're gonna do at defensive line, but they thought Campbell was a better player. So we'll see with Khalid Campbell. Whatever his name is, we'll see. Come on, what you basing that off? He said if the draft picks all work out, what position would have the biggest hole? Defensive tackle. Still. Brandon Warren walked off the World Sports Draft Show after the Jack Campbell pick. Yes, in the Jets fucking shirt. By the way, in the Jets shirt. Yeah, I told my neighbor the Warriors was going. Yeah, duh. We all know that once LeBron and Steph Curry again. We already knew that. We know if any sport rig, it's the NBA, bro. I can't watch no Laker games because of the steroids. He's a front runner. Yeah, he started talking shit to the Grizzlies after. I just don't. I'm not F what Braylon was talking about. I compared Campbell to Drew Sanders and Dylan Henny. We'll see. Drew Sanders went third or fourth. Good. Should have been a preacher. I don't know about the other guy. The other guy went way later. Athleticism don't mean you can play. Go look at Taylor Mays. Couldn't do shit out there. The results is what you're saying about Jan Campbell was a lie. He's a freak. I didn't know he was that fucking big, bro. That's a big fucking white boy. He's a big man. They must believe Levy is ready, and Pascal, we just outside looking in. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the they believing that what Levi's ready and then Pascal. I mean, that's got to be the conclusion. But they got some money. Maybe Ed Oliver, maybe on the way. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I feel like we should have had the Eagles draft. Y'all gonna beat that Jalen Carter shit in the mud, ain't y'all? Y'all ain't gonna let that go. Yeah, banking on Eli Levy. I ain't banking on him. I'm surprised he ain't cut his ass already. The Eagles can take chances that we can't take chances on. The Eagles took Nolan Smith coming off a pectoral injury. They took Jalen Carter, got character concerns. They could take them type of risks. They got them type of depths. The Warriors about to win apparently. We all knew the Warriors is gonna win, bro. Like, come on. Hell no, Drew Sanders is small. That's who might not transfer to the league. All these inside linebackers are small. That's gotta call a spade a spade. All these dudes are small. Now Eric Kendrick's 6 foot. I mean, just 6 feet tall. Drew Sanders 6'5". What you talking about? That's a big white boy. He 234. That's still solid weight. Yeah, that's a big white boy. Big man in general. That man 6'5". That's funny. I won the Eagles draft last year. I still haven't even let Aaron Donald go. I still haven't. Yeah, it is what it is. Drew Sanders is straight. He a head buster. Yeah, that's big. That's some big. Man, what they putting in the white boys' Cheerios? They fucking Wheaties and shit. He's some big ass white boy. The Pac-12 to try to define linebackers. Why he said they haven't let OBJ go. Yeah, man, I ain't worried about OBJ, man. I don't want his ass anyway. Soft ass. I mean, be quiet. If I say something, get me banned. Sassy ass. How about that? I agree. The Eagles can take those. If the Lions get much better, they would draft us. Yeah, man. As soon as they draft one of these dudes and they get in trouble or they tear another pectoral muscle, y'all gonna be screaming, Brad Holmes, keep drafting entry and taking unnecessary risks. Man, exactly what y'all gonna be fucking screaming. Martin's good at stopping the run. He just gotta get better at the technical side of things. Shout out to Ray R Tokyo. He said, "What are you doing? College doesn't always translate to the pros." He said, "Just imagine slower Megatron at linebacker." That's who Jake Campbell is. Slower Megatron. But yeah, let me get out of here, man. I stayed on an hour and 30 minutes. Appreciate y'all, man. This will be on Spotify in like an hour. Obviously, usually on YouTube. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Want to support the channel? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313. Roll on the bottom of the screen, also on the link tree. Check me out on TikTok, Marcy Sports Talk 313 on TikTok. It's in the link tree as well. Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Cash App, Venmo. Just hit the link tree. Peace.